What's going on, guys? Long time no see. If you're like me, you love goats. And you also love some of the greatest games of all time. Now, me personally, I don't have a single goat. I love, a lot of games, and it kind of depends on my mood. It kind of depends on genre, stuff like that. But with all that being said, there are definitely several games that I could think of that would be considered, some of the greatest of all time. Not just in the history of gaming, but, also within their genres or their respective series themselves. So I decided to start a new series called GOAT Games. And, we're going to talk about different games and why are they the best within, gaming as a whole, and why are they the best within their series and their genre and all that stuff. And, maybe if we have time, we'll kind of talk about like their impact on gaming as a whole, depending on the game. So I figured for this first episode, we talk about a series that is very near and dear to my heart, the Monster Hunter series, and more specifically, Generations, and why it is definitely the best in the Monster Hunter series, and why it's probably one of the best games of all time. So I'm gonna send it over to voiceover Reptarus, and we're gonna go to hunting school.
Alright guys, for this first episode of GOAT Games, we're going to celebrate the upcoming release of Monster Hunter for the PC by talking about Monster Hunter for the 3DS and for the Switch. Now, up until recently, Monster Hunter has always been considered pretty much a cult series. The first game came out in 2004 on the PS2, and the series never really picked up that much mainstream success here in the West up until the release of Monster Hunter World almost 15 years later. This game probably has the most simple gameplay loop that I could think of in terms of a modern gaming series. You kill monsters, make their parts to make new armor and weapons, and then you use those armor and weapons to go kill bigger monsters, and then you rinse and repeat until you end up looking like the final boss in some sort of anime or something like that. And once you get onto that loop, it is so hard to get off. You eat, and then you hunt, and then you micromanage some stuff, and then you eat, and then you hunt, and then you micromanage some more stuff, then you eat, and then you hunt, and then you decide you maybe want to play as like a palico or something like that, and then you take the palico, and then you eat, and then you hunt, and then you micromanage some more stuff. It has the same effect that Civilization has on most people, where you're just saying, I'm just gonna do one more hunt, I'm just gonna do one more quest, I just gotta get one more body part, and then before you know it, you have a 100-hour save file and you've barely cracked Hunter Rank 3. So despite the simple concept, Monster Hunter is still known for being a pretty complex and pretty deep game. But despite all that, I would probably still recommend Generations and Generations Ultimate for a newcomer to the series for several reasons. The first two being portability, and I haven't played Monster Hunter World yet because I'm waiting for a PC. So this is my opinion on the matter until I have had time to put into World. But I also did my due diligence and also tried to look at discussions and videos and all types of other stuff in regards to people's feelings about Monster Hunter World compared to the old series. And based off the research that I have done, this is my conclusion on why Generations Ultimate is not only, the best in the Monster Hunter series, but also probably, the best game for newcomers as well. So a lot of the quality of life changes that World put forth are completely relevant to any and all discussions, debates, and arguments. But in exchange for those quality of life upgrades, you are missing out on a lot of customization things like Hunter styles, which gave you different move sets, and Hunter arts, which were customizable super moves within those move sets. So you really had the ability to tailor your hunter to really fit with your personal gameplay style. Like me, I'm a charge blade user, I love to hit heavy, I like to roll around and dodge, so I just went adept style with a limit break on there, and I've been happy as a clam. And from what I've seen and heard, the in-game grind for decoration sounds pretty painful, and not gonna lie, I'm not really looking forward to it, but I mean, we'll see how it actually is when I get my hands on it next week. But anyways, I don't want to sound like I'm not excited for Monster Hunter World. I'm just counting down the days, 5 days from me recording this till my birthday and the release date. So, it's a blessed day for me. And then, I'm going to be getting Monster Hunter on the Switch a couple weeks later. But I digress. Let's talk about why Generations is still the GOAT. When it comes to just sheer amount of content, I mean, once again, Generations just takes the cake. Let's go look at just, monster count itself. Generations has 105 total monsters, 71 large, 34 small. Compared to 4 Ultimate, which is, a lot of older players' favorite version, 98 total monsters, 75 large, 23 small. So I guess, they have the advantage of more large monsters. But when you go to Monster Hunter World, 31 large monsters and 17 small monsters. Once again, it just sounds like I'm completely shitting on World, which is not the case, because I'm just so hyped for this game and I'm just so excited to play it. But I mean, the numbers don't really lie here. As I previously stated, the save file that I am working on now for Generations going into Generations Ultimate, that one is 99 hours, and I just started Hunter Rank 3. I pretty much did almost every village quest that I could for some reason. But I mean, that's the beauty of it. You have like 100 hours just on the village quests alone, and I didn't even complete all of them. I just started doing the Hunter's Hub quest, and I skipped all the filler ones that I've just been focusing on the key quests to get my Hunter rank up. And I still haven't even I am not even anywhere close to even getting near the special permit quest. And I mean, I still have all the event quests and the arena quests that I can do too. There is just a staggering amount of content here. And that's why you hear stories of people saying, I have over 1,000 hours in 4 or Generations or something like that. There's just so much to do in this game, and somehow they made the gameplay loop just perfect. I'm typically not big in the grindy games. I am, but I'm not. For example, I've been putting a serious 15 hours into Warframe. There is something about it that I just really want to spend more time with it, but every time that I get past 2, maybe 3 hours of playing, I just get bored. But that doesn't really happen with Monster Hunter, despite the fact that both games have a very similar loop in regards to just their individual systems. You pick a mission, you go in, you do it, and then you take everything that you get from that mission to upgrade your gear or whatever. But I think Monster Hunter has the benefit of giving you some decently immediate gratification for your grinding and for your efforts. You go in, you slay a monster, you start learning about it more, which means you can start killing it quicker, and the only time you really got to redo something is because you didn't get that one damn part that you have been trying for over 4 runs to get. Anyways, enough about the fact that Shogun Centaurs are just absolute bullshit. So let's say that my opinion wasn't basically absolute fact, and let's say that this was all, just entirely subjective. The one thing that I would say is an absolute empirical fact in regards to why Generations, XX, whatever you want to call it, why that version is probably the best version of Monster Hunter, Palicos. That's why. So you thought it was awesome in the fact that you could have a little cat sidekick to run around with you and hunt monsters and occasionally get on the back of those small monsters and, ride in the battle with you. But you haven't seen anything until you play as a cat yourself, and then you and your 2 other Palico buddies just roll up on some of these large monsters and just start dishing out damage. It is so much fun. It is such a good feeling. And if you thought that a Fashion Souls addiction was bad, you haven't seen anything until you try to make your cat army look like the feline version of Migos. It's just addicting. You get a ranch. You get a Palico ranch for all your Palico buddies to train them and to send them out on missions for extra parts. And I would even say the Generations version of Meowster Hunter is better than the 4 Ultimate version of Meowster Hunter as well. Much easier to get what you actually want to get. IMO. And just so I can spend a minute not being mean to Monster Hunter World, and we'll talk about 4U for a second, a lot of people will complain about 2 main things in regards to 4U going to Generations: the frame rate and the lower difficulty because of the lower health of the bosses. Frame rate. You know what? I totally get it. I'm a frame rate whore myself. That's why I waited for the PC version so I could get full 60 FPS at, like high settings. But in this case, you're going from like what, 45 to 30. This is one of the few instances where I'd probably pick a stable 30 FPS as opposed to a constantly fluctuating 30 to 55-ish. And the other thing about the lower health of the monsters, therefore making it an easier game, that's why I would say this would probably be the best Monster Hunter game for newcomers. They get something that's a little bit easier in terms of a hunt, but they still get the full Monster Hunter experience, and if they want something that is more difficult, they can go back to 4U if they really want, or they can just, play like the Deviant Monster Hunter quests and stuff like that. So with all that being said, I think I did a pretty good job of, proving my case as to why Generations Ultimate, Cross, and Double Cross are probably the best games in the Monster Hunter series and probably one of the best games of all time. You can go ahead and tell me how I'm wrong, but that would just make you more wrong. So until the next GOAT Games, I am voiceover Reptarus, and I'm going to go ahead and send it back over to live action Reptarus.
So some people label their GOAT games based on story, others do it based on sales, and most other people do it based on critical acclaim. I personally, especially in this instance, I base my GOAT game on gameplay and, that core gameplay loop. Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter Generations, more specifically, an amazing job of putting in that perfect gameplay that can keep someone coming back for hundreds of hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours. The gameplay is challenging and yet, rewarding and varied enough to keep you coming back. You feel yourself getting better. You get that instant gratification seeing the fruits of your labor, and it's just something that not many games can do. Not many games can create their own subgenre. Not many games can spend over a decade perfecting its formula to the point that it becomes that publisher's or that developer's, highest selling game of all time in regards to, Monster Hunter World. But, we're talking about the GOAT. We're talking about the best of the series and one of the greatest games of all time. And for this week, for today, that's Monster Hunter Generations and soon to be Generations Ultimate. So, to the GOATs, the future GOATs, and our first and technically only GOAT right now, thank you for all the memories, thank you for all the fun, thank you for reinforcing why I'm a gamer. So guys, until next time, as usual, social media stuff over here, like, subscribe, follow, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Talk to me, please talk to me. I want to know what you guys think. Favorite Monster Hunter game? Which do you think is better? World, Generations Ultimate, 4U. Some people still say Freedom is the best one out of the entire series. So let's talk about it, and let's just talk about and celebrate the fact that this series that we have been trying to get so many people to play for so long it's finally here. So at the end of the day, let's remember that, and I will talk to you guys all next time. Until then, peace.
I'm a shapeshifter, chained down to my core. Please don't take